Hello and welcome to Glasgow. Welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host Owen James. Guys, this is your Everything Rangers news channel. Right, we are going to talk a little bit about Rangers finally seemingly standing up to the SFA. Yes, in light of the decision to allow Francis O'Connor, to return to VR duties this weekend. Rather scandalously, actually, as the VAR match official in the Celtic game at Parkhead. Now, given the fact that Connor is a Celtic fan, there is pictures of him in a Celtic shirt. He was or is a member of a Celtic Supporters Association. This has caused outrage amongst Rangers supporters and, of course, as well, the club. And you've got to kind of call into question a little bit as well the integrity of the whole procedure if you're putting someone who is a Celtic fan in charge of VAR in a Celtic game. Certainly down south in England, the situation is that referees who support one of the two clubs are not allowed to be VAR or match officials in those games. This is certainly something that Scotland should do. It is something that badly damages the credibility of Scottish football. I mean, it'd be like putting me as the VAR official in charge of a Rangers game. It would just obviously not be, very neutral, would it? The decision-making process. However, the club have issued an official statement, and they are clearly not happy with what is happening. This appears obviously to go against what Willie Cullum said the other week, where he talked about obviously being clear, being transparent, and obviously taking action against officials that didn't reach the required standard. According to Rangers, this is on the club website, this statement was made. It says Rangers have contacted the Scottish FA to express serious concerns and ask several questions regarding the swift reinstatement of the two VAR officials involved in officiating failure during the recent Premier Sports Cup final. We also note that one of the officials has been appointed as an SPFL Premiership match involving the club that benefited from the error. I think you could add into brackets after that as well for the club that he supports. I honestly, genuinely find this absolutely ridiculous, and it just really sort of reinstates this image of Scotland as a farmers league, as a bit of a joke league that you allow people who are so quite obviously pro one club to officiate at their games. I just think it is absolutely ludicrous. I think Connor, to put him in charge of the team he supports is just beyond a joke. It is actually a joke. It really genuinely is. The decision to reinstate the officials so quickly, and in particular for a fixture involving the club which benefited from the mistake in question, has drawn widespread media scrutiny on the officiating failure and the officials concerned. This was both predictable and avoidable and contradicts any stated duty of care from the Scottish FA towards their match officials. So obviously, the club pointing out that it is, that you cannot obviously put club officials in charge of their own game. It putting them into harm's way. It is obviously questioning their integrity as well. Mistakes do happen in football. How they are addressed matters enormously. We would urge the Scottish FA to demonstrate its desire to improve the quality and consistency of officiating and do so in a transparent manner. We are seeking to challenge the authority of the Scottish FA we are not seeking to challenge the authority of the Scottish FA or the integrity or the independence of match officials, but to encourage improved standards and accountability. This is not about influence, it is about good governance. That obviously goes in contradiction to what Celtic do, where they do try to influence match officials. They do try to influence the SFA. They do try to sow a narrative to obviously get their own way. That is the way it just is, and that is a plain fact. And I know that I know some podcasters out there will call me ridiculous for saying that, will say I'm degrading the podcast, but I don't care. I'm calling it out as it is. You've got to call it out as it is, because if you don't call it out as it is, then you're deluding yourself. Rangers FC expects tangible steps to be taken and remains committed to holding the Scottish FA accountable in the interests of the game. So this statement that's come out quite clearly shows that Rangers have reached a point where they are not prepared to accept what is going on. They're not prepared to accept the absolute ludicrousness of the Scottish FA. They're not prepared to accept the poor standards in the in match officials, and they are not prepared to accept any perceived bias towards one team over another. This move has put the SFA in a position that, if any decision is remotely controversial, during that game and it goes in favour of Celtic, that there is automatically going to be an outcry from the supporters and obviously from those from the media, because that is just a natural thing, isn't it? You know, the Scottish FA have really put themselves and Connor into a very difficult position. Now, I know in Scotland it is increasingly hard to obviously get match officials for Celtic and Rangers games, given the fact that the vast majority of the Scottish population support one or the other. However, if you're telling me that you can't, find officials, that are not pro Rangers, pro Celtic, then we have a major issue. And perhaps we need to start to look to English referees and referees from other countries to sort of smooth the process over. And also if you can't find, 6 officials for a Celtic game and 6 officials for a Rangers game out of the number of officials that you must have on a match day who are not Rangers or Celtic fans, then you are quite clearly have major issues with what you are doing. But I'm pleased that the club have finally come out. I'm pleased that the club are finally calling this out and are finally standing up to the SFA, because Rangers have for too long sat idly by and taken the perceived moral high ground on these matters and kind of said, well, we're not getting involved, etc., etc. We are, we're better than that, we're etc., etc., which, is getting the club absolutely nowhere. So for me, this is the right move by the club. This is a positive move by the club. And I support the statement they've made, and I'm glad they are calling into question the decisions made by the SFA, because it quite clearly puts Willie Cullum in a very difficult position. Willie Cullum came out and made the statements that he made. The SFA have now made these appointments, making Cullum look extremely stupid. So, this is again the SFA proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that they are not fit for purpose. They are not fit to govern this game, and they are an absolute joke of an organisation, and they're making the Scottish League look like it has no credibility, that it has no just, it looks ridiculous in Europe. It really does. And if we're going to market this product, which we have, which is a good product, Rangers and Celtic are two massive global clubs. They have the potential to be a really good product to market. But, the situation is the SFA are not doing us any favours. They are not doing the league any favours through these ludicrous decisions. So I fully support Rangers calling this into question. I fully support the statement they've made. Guys, let me know your thoughts on what Rangers have said. Thanks for watching. As always, guys, please obviously smash the like, sub, share, comment, all that great stuff. And remember always, we are the people.